Professor Hanan Samet at the University of Maryland in College Park. I'd like to welcome you to Twitter Stand. Twitter Stand is a news gathering and dissemination system containing tweets that are determined to be newsworthy, built at the University of Maryland. Twitter Stand has two modes of operation corresponding to the two types of queries that it is designed to handle. These queries are, where is Y happening, and what is happening at location X. We now describe these modes in the context of news tweets taking place at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time on April 7, 2010. We first describe the where is Y happening mode and what people are tweeting about that is related to news. The first one deals with the mine safety issues and disaster in West Virginia. And here we see that there are 3,426 tweets, clearly a popular topic. Next, we see that people are tweeting about the signature of the arms treaty that Obama did with Russia, and there are quite a lot of tweets here as well. And the tweets go on in terms of other newsworthy topics. The next one is about Tiger Woods shooting 68 in a Masters tournament. This is probably only due to his problems with marital infidelity. The next one deals with the mudslides happening in Rio de Janeiro. Clearly a topic of concern to lots of people who are tweeting on it, not just for news, but also for letting people know where issues of safety and so on. Let us examine one of the topics of the tweets more carefully. Namely, we're looking at the West Virginia mine disaster. Here we can see the tweet where someone is tweeting about the mine air still being too dangerous for rescue. This guy is really called True Jesus Cares. We don't know who he is, but he's one of our distributed reporters. Notice that this happened about 5 minutes ago. Now, let us look at these tweets and their location, the geographic locations are mentioned in them. What it is really that each tweet is 140 characters long, therefore the amount of information is quite limited. However, what these tweets usually do is they contain URLs where more information can be found and from which we can glean the associated geographic locations. So, for example, with the treaty with the Russians about the nuclear weapon reduction, it's obvious that the locations involved are Washington, D.C., Prague, where the treaty was signed, Moscow, and then there's some peripheral players that are not so peripheral, namely Iran and North Korea, as well as China. Now we look at the next topic, or the next important story, which is the coal mine disaster. And here it's obvious that we have the location of the mine in Colmont and also the state of West Virginia. And the next topic of interest is Tiger Woods, and obviously the Masters golf tournament is taking place in Augusta, Georgia, which is the location that's shown on the map. Now we turn to the mudslides in Rio de Janeiro, and of course we see Rio de Janeiro highlighted, as well as another important city in Brazil, namely Sao Paulo, which also has some involvement in it. Now, let us look at the images associated with the tweets about the mudslides in Rio de Janeiro. Here we see lots and lots of images, and in fact, if we look at the captions associated with them, they actually tell a story as well. But really, the most important part of the story is just captured by the images and on the faces of the people. Clearly, the disaster is well understood even without the words. At this point, let us review the innovations in Twitter Stand. These innovations are primarily a result of the challenges that we faced in building it. First of all, the tweets arrive at a furious pace, and most tweets are not even news. So what we had to do was to separate the wheat from the chaff. In addition, we also needed to be able to cluster similar tweets and also determine the associated geographic locations. The idea here is that it enabled us to visualize where the tweets are happening and provide a map interface as an alternative presentation and access method to them.